Well, before we do anything, hi.
Hi.
How's it going?
Well, I'm a little disappointed. Nobody... Oh, wait. I shouldn't say that before we say, no, this is going to be spoilers.
Okay, well, let's... Hello and welcome to the Movie Med Podcast.
The B Team.
My name is Brady.
And I'm Carl.
And, to hell with preamble. Let's just state right off the bat that this is a spoiler review for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So if you have not seen Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and you're worried about spoilers, this is not the episode to listen to at this given time. It is, however, the episode to return to and listen to once you've seen Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Yes.
Like
any good pirate, we're going to have all the spoils.
Yeah. Now, listen, before you tell me what you're disappointed about, what you love, what you don't love, because you and I have not talked about this. I don't know what you thought. We both just saw it last night. You don't know what I thought. I don't know what you thought. I do want to, before we go any further, I want to very briefly take a quick stroll back through time and just kind of remind ourselves of what the track record has been like for the MCU post Endgame. Because up until Endgame, we've talked about it many times on the show. There was the odd miss, you know. There was your Thor Dark Worlds.
Yeah.
There was your, and I would say Thor the Dark World is kind of really the one that everybody goes, yeah, that was a miss.
Yeah, it's the one to hate on in the early years.
There are
MCU.
other divisive ones. I know that there's a lot of hate out there for Iron Man 2 and 3. I like Iron Man 2 and 3, so I can't,
Yeah. I like Iron Man 2 and 3. I thought like the kind of the villain story arc in 3 was a little weak, but other than that, it was still good. Yeah.
There's some hate out there for Captain Marvel. I don't hate it the way, is it the strongest entry in the MCU? No. I don't hate it the way that, some other people out there seem to hate it. So let's take a little quick stroll here. So post Endgame, in order of release, first we had Black Widow. Again, super divisive. I actually just watched it last night as well. Finished watching it last night.
Is that like a second watch?
What do you mean? Oh, it was like a third or fourth watch. Yeah. Okay. Like a rewatch. I rewatched it. You know what? It's super divisive. It came out totally at the wrong time.
Absolutely.
But I really like it. Aside from it's a little kind of BS-y towards the end where you're like, are we having a fight Are we having a fight in free fall? And it's just this big kind of this movie that up until this point has been fairly grounded, as all of a sudden becomes a little fantastical. But
because they were on the ground.
No, they're like falling off the. Anyways, shut up. So divisive, but I didn't think was bad. Then we had Shang-Chi, The Legend of the Ten Rings. Fantastic movie. Felt great. Was like, okay, here we go. We're post-Endgame. Business as usual. It's a new phase. You're introducing some new heroes. Yeah. It was just as you've done before.
It was also great because it kind of did what Ant-Man did, and that it flipped. It took like kind of the MCU's cookie cutter-ish kind of cliche superhero movie and flipped it and turned it into more of a martial arts film.
Yeah.
Where kind of Ant-Man turned that superhero genre into a heist film.
Yeah.
Which was really great.
Then we have Eternals. Super divisive. I actually quite like Eternals. I'm an Eternals fan. I thought it was, I'm still sitting here kind of in the dark going, but how does it tie in?
Yeah. I thought it was okay.
Tissue?
I didn't think it was great. But yeah, like you, me, and Pete on our three-way chat, we're like, we've shared. I've shared a few times little memes about like they haven't like this was a huge event for Earth, and nothing since that movie has really touched on it.
No, there was like a small reference in Quantumania. There was a small reference in something else, She-Hulk, maybe, but nothing that's like actually like said, hey, let's address what happened.
Let's address why this massive being just appeared in the sky.
Yeah.
And this massive being started coming out of the earth.
Yeah. Spider-Man No Way Home. Oh my gosh. Like, it was great. You know, it was 2 hours of 2.5 hours of fan service, but it was fan service done real well. And
yeah.
Love No Way Home.
Can we point out that the other thing, the MCU, and we've talked about this a bit on our chat too, is that the MCU, all the movies we're talking about, with the exception of Black Widow, are post-snap, post the Thanos, and hardly any of them have addressed life post-snap. They've touched on it.
Yeah.
They've touched on it more than the Eternals stuff.
Yeah.
But hardly any of them, almost all of them are like, yeah, let's just go about life as per normal. Spider-Man's probably done the best job.
The shows kind of touch it more than the films have, I think.
Yeah. Like, even then, it seems odd.
Yeah. Doctor Strange with the Multiverse of Madness. This is a super divisive one. There's a lot of hate out there for it. A lot of people go, "Oh, it was awful." I had a lot of fun with it. I mean, I've only maybe seen it twice. I saw it twice in the theaters. I haven't seen it since. But I will soon, because Brianne and I are sort of rewatching the MCU right now. So it's on the docket.
Where you at?
We're doing it in timeline order.
So you're going to watch Black Widow when it should have been watched.
Yeah, so we just watched Black Widow last night.
Right. Oh, right. Yeah. Okay,
right after having watched Civil War. And it was like, oh, this like really fits in. Like, it fits in great.
Yeah.
So
that's where it should have been all along.
Yeah. Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness. I really liked it. I know a lot of people didn't. I thought it was great. It's fun. I liked the dark Sam Raimi-ness of it.
Yeah.
Right? The Evil Dead 2 kind of feel. Thor: Love and Thunder. This, for me, film-wise, was the first real letdown in the post-Endgame film category. I don't hate it. I don't think it's trash. But compared to Ragnarok, which this was a follow-up to, this was a massive step down.
Yeah, it was a flop.
It's
not as bad as Dark World, I don't think.
No.
But they leaned too heavy into goofiness.
Into the silly.
I couldn't take anytime anything was about to be like a really serious moment's happening, somebody on screen is acting like a fool. And it's like,
yeah.
Like, I can't take this film seriously if they're not going to take it seriously.
Yeah. Then we have Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. I actually enjoyed this one. I enjoyed this more than I enjoyed Black Panther 1. It's still Black Panther's still not my favorite franchise within the MCU. But I didn't think it was, especially given the circumstances that they had in the production of this film, the fact that they were so far into production and then Chadwick Boseman passed away, and they had to go, okay, oh shit.
I can't remember we reviewed this one.
We did.
I feel like I thought it was just kind of okay, and the first one was better. I didn't like a lot of the...
Yeah, I think so. You were a little more lukewarm than I was.
Yeah, they weren't second tier heroes. What do we call them again? Like reimagining the characters as somebody else, kind of.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know what you mean.
Anyway, people know what I'm talking about.
Ant-Man and the Wasp. Ant-Man and the Wasp. Quantumania. Hot trash. Pretty much through and through, I thought that film was hot trash. It just was. It was so bad. It was so bad in so many ways. Then quickly, the TV shows. WandaVision was incredible. WandaVision, there are a couple of people out there who I don't think got it, or maybe watched the first couple of episodes and didn't wait to kind of have it all come into focus and make sense. And so they were just like, well, this is too silly and it's too weird and it's got like, it doesn't make any sense. WandaVision was amazing. Like, WandaVision was the true return to the water cooler show, the show that each week we were all talking about. We were all throwing theories around. We were all couldn't wait for the next episode to come out.
And you're right. Once the glass kind of broke in the show, like Wanda kind of started realizing what was going on, and that's when it really started to get good. Yeah.
Then we had Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I enjoy this. It was a letdown compared to what my expectation was, my level of anticipation for Falcon and Winter Soldier. It just seemed slow at times. Like, there was a lot of stuff that I thought could have been cut. And this was one of those projects that instead of being an 8 or however long episode series, could have been condensed down into an hour 45-minute movie. And it would have been, I don't know, just as good, if not better, I think. Then we had Loki. Loki was a lot of fun. Loki had its ups and downs. There was definitely some times in Loki where it wasn't the greatest. But
I thought Loki was great.
But I enjoyed it. It was fun. Loki's still that one series, though, that we're sitting here going, how does this, like, if you remove Loki and you remove, what's the other one? Loki. If you remove Loki and you remove the Eternals, then the MCU makes a lot more sense than it currently does.
Loki ties into Ant-Man strongly, but there's still a lot of like the TVA and what exactly are who started them? How long has multiverse been around? Was it the fault? Like, did we see the birth of a multiverse in Loki and the TVA? Well, no, because it seems like multiverse has been around forever. Like, it just, there was a lot. We still don't understand how it plays in with the world rules of the rest of the MCU. I thought it was pretty clear.
What do you mean?
Up to the point of Loki, multiverse exists, but it doesn't, because the TVA kept it to just one universe. After Loki, the multiverse reemerges.
Yeah, but there was something. I'm trying to remember what movie it was. Maybe it was Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, when we were talking about, or when we reviewed. I can't remember what it was now, but there's like some weird contradictions with multiverse within the MCU.
All the multiverse stuff happens after Loki.
No, I know, but there's a lot of references. I'll figure it out.
References to it. Like the first Spider-Man movie references it, or the second Spider-Man movie references it Fishbowl Head.
Right.
He mentions it.
Well, okay, but here's the thing, like so here you go.
And that's the first mention of it.
Okay, but so here you go. The Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. All the stuff in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, just by virtue of the age of Tobey Maguire in No Way Home, happened like 20 years ago.
So,
in another universe.
So
you're saying that multiverse was there was only one, it was all kept to one universe prior to Loki.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, there's I know somewhere there's like this weird thing where it doesn't quite fit, or we're still waiting for explanations as to how it works.
Yeah. So in my mind, it works. And I think the best explanation of it is the visual in Loki when the timeline starts to explode into multiple timelines and universes. So up until that point, there's just one line. And anytime a branch forms, they prune it back, and it doesn't exist. So there's just one universe. So they're keeping it to one universe. But when
With
when
the
it
exception
explodes,
of Endgame.
it explodes all the way across the timeline back to the beginning of time. Right. So all of a sudden, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man exists back in the timeline, and yeah, he's older now because, like, in terms of keeping up with time, it's that kind of time paradox thing. Like, time exists outside of itself in the TVA, right?
Right. Anyways, moving on. So after Loki, we had What If. What If was just kind of a fun romp. I wouldn't consider it, like, it's not necessarily, you don't have to look at it through the lens of canon. It's just kind of, they're exactly what they are. They're What If, they're Elseworld kind of fun little mini adventures. Hawkeye was a letdown for me. I still thoroughly enjoyed Hawkeye. I enjoyed the setting, the Christmas in New York. Like, it had this kind of like Home Alone kind of feel to it. It was like, it's fun. I really enjoy the Hawkeye character. Having Yelena show up again was fantastic. And it made sense, right? As far as she's concerned, Clint's responsible for the death of Nat. The whole Echo stuff, I thought Echo was done kind of really poorly, and it just, like, towards the end, just kind of, I felt, went off the rails.
I thought the Hawkeye stuff was really great.
Yeah.
And I actually had forgot about it till you just mentioned it. But, like, I think it's one that deals with the Snap stuff probably the most now that it's in my mind again.
Right. Yeah, it does.
Right,
it talks. It's
all about Hawkeye not being the hero he used to be because of everything that's happened.
Yeah, and we also get to see some flashbacks through Yelena's perspective of, where she was when she came back, and like how that all. Moon Knight. I think Moon Knight was a misfire. I was so excited for Moon Knight, and Moon Knight was a show that kind of just asked 1,000 questions and then decided to answer 3 questions, 2 of which weren't even one of the questions that it initially asked. And so it felt rushed. It felt disjointed. It was kind of, it was sticky.
I thought it was good, but I don't think it fits in the MCU very well. Because, like you're saying, it asks a bunch of questions, and it creates a bunch of questions that, again, nobody in the MCU has answered.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like these. I'm mentioning it again. Like, this is two massive beings fighting in Egypt, and we've not addressed it since. It seems odd. Like, previous to this point, like in previous iterations, like the battle for New York was like the biggest thing to happen that would be kind of global news. Everything else in the standalone films was pretty, like, maybe North American news, but like people in Europe aren't going to care so much, I don't think. You know what I mean? Like, this is pretty big deal. These 2 massive monsters that look crazy fighting in Egypt, like, right?
Yeah,
and it's not being addressed anywhere else. It just seems odd.
Yeah. We had Miss Marvel. I thought Miss Marvel was great. It was fun. It was charismatic. It was all around entertaining and a lot of fun.
Again, I think for the same reason that Shang-Chi and Ant-Man 1 and 2 were really good. It kind of flips the script on that kind of traditional origin story. It's not just a superhero origin. It's kind of like this. It's a little goofier. It's a little not goofier. Like the cinematography of it, the tone of it doesn't feel like a superhero origin story.
Right.
It's not dark or broody or you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it was really good for that. Like it kind of went in new bold direction, and it did well doing so.
I Am Groot. I Am Groot was cute. But it's super inconsequential. It's just kind of
they're like the what ifs.
Yeah, it's just a fun little thing to throw in there. She-Hulk. Ugh. She-Hulk. I've said this. I've heard other people say this, and I stand by it. The big issue with She-Hulk is She-Hulk was marketed, set out, and intended to be sort of like a sitcom. It was a comedy. It was a comedy show. But you run into issues when you have a comedy show that isn't really funny. Like so many issues. Janky CGI and jokes that didn't land and fourth wall breaks that were sometimes kind of really worked, and we're like, okay, yeah, this is fun, but other times were just like tacky and thrown in there. She-Hulk was a hot mess.
Well, and extreme, right? Like that's a pretty extreme fourth wall break to kind of.
Oh yeah.
Like how do you have her interact in a big combination film, an Avengers level film?
Yeah.
Like she could just walk through a door and be like, no, the big bad shouldn't do this.
Well, I mean, that's the same issue with bringing Deadpool in, right?
Yeah. Deadpool's kind of the same thing. Yeah.
And then closing off the category just with the two special presentations we've gotten. Werewolf by Night, fantastic. Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, way better than it had any right being. Like just both fantastic. But the thing to look at here is it's not as clean a track record as what we had in phase 1, 2, and 3. Right?
Yeah.
Phase 4, kind of here, there, everywhere. Phase 5, so far, the only entry aside from Guardians, Volume 3 that we had in Phase 5 was Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. That was not a good start. It was not a good kickoff to Phase 5. So let's get into initial impressions. I'm here to say that sitting in a movie theater last night, watching this Marvel film. Now, here's the thing. Regardless of whether this film is great or horrible or mediocre or what have you, it doesn't mean that the MCU's doomed. It doesn't mean that they're back on track. It doesn't mean any of those things, because the next project could come out and it could be amazing or awful or what. It's all independent of each other. But sitting in the movie theater last night was the first time in a long time that I was watching an MCU film and I couldn't help but ask myself, are we back on track? Are we? Because this feels like Phase 3 MCU. Yeah. This feels like just the old, like this feels like the days when you knew that you'd bought tickets to go see an MCU film, and you knew that you were in for a good time tonight. And it hasn't been like that in a long time. It's been, okay, we got MCU tickets tonight. I hope this one's good. But man, I just sat down, and from the moment the film started, don't get me wrong, I've got one or two grievances, but I got a lot of praises. And not since maybe a little bit in No Way Home, but really not since Endgame was I like tearing up. Tearing up, crying from laughter, crying from emotions, crying from just like, oh my God, are we back on track? I thoroughly enjoyed Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Best MCU film in quite some time, and I really, really hope it's an indicator that, you know what? Phase 4 was kind of a mess. We get it. but we're back. What are your initial impressions of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3?
So, Guardians of the Galaxy 1 was one of my favorite Marvel films for a long time until Thor Ragnarok. And that Guardians of the Galaxy 2 was right on par in my like neck and neck quality, like in terms of
interesting. Because I don't think that's the common opinion.
No, it's not. But I think they're equally good.
Okay.
The third one is right on par. It's the same thing. Probably though, it's got because of a few what I would consider missteps in the script and the storytelling for this film, it's a bit below. So it would rank the third out of the 3 Guardian films. Mm-hmm. But it's still really good. It was a lot of fun. All
right. So it's interesting. Up until this moment, we never know what is the dynamic of this episode going to be.
Yeah.
Like, are we going to gush together? Are we going to bash together? Or are we going to be
at odds?
At odds. Okay.
Sounds like we're going to gush together. It will be interesting though, because it sounds like we both have beefs. Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting to see if any of our beefs align.
So should we get beefs out of the way?
If there's any counterpoints to the beefs.
Okay. Let's get beefs out of the way so that we can just then gush on
then
this thing.
Then we can just gush. We can fangirl.
The only thing that I'm going to label as a beef. I mean, there might be the odd little moment or line or whatever that didn't work for me, but whatever, right? No film is going to like be just a perfect thing. But the one thing that I think I'm holding in my beef category is that James Gunn, Kevin Feige, the writers, whoever we need to point a finger at, this film, we'll just say Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, did not have the nerve, did not have the gall, and did not have the bravery to kill off a character.
Yes! Yes! Absolutely.
And I think that
it hurts the film.
Yes, I think so. You could easily have done Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and not have had anyone die, and I wouldn't have been sitting here complaining. But the issue for me comes in where you have at least 2 characters who come within an inch of death. Where you tease the death, where you really make it seem like that's what's going to happen. You build up the emotions, you build up the shock value, and then you go, just kidding.
Yeah.
Right?
And when nobody dies at the end of the film, for me, I look back at it and I go, the stakes weren't real because nobody's dead. They're invincible. Their plot armor helps them all survive.
Well, I mean, there was stakes, like in the sense that Rocket's life was in the balance.
I'm not saying there's not stakes. I'm just saying those stakes that they've created, they feel false because the danger wasn't really there.
Right.
If the danger was there, then somebody would have died.
They didn't follow through on their
In my
threat.
opinion, that's why Guardians 1 and Guardians 2 are some of the best Marvel films, because somebody dies in each of them.
Right.
Groot dies in the first one. Yeah. And for those that are unaware,
it's not the same Groot.
The Groot in Guardians 2 and 3 is not the Groot from Guardians 1. He is Groot's progeny. So he's a completely different being.
Yeah.
Groot died in Guardians 1. That adds weight and consequences to their battle, to their struggle. In the second one, Yondu dies. That adds weight and consequences to their struggle.
Oh, I mean, Taserface died too.
No one dies. There's no weight or consequences to their struggle.
Right.
And it hurts the film.
I mean, Rocket's friends die, But
yes, but that's in a flashback, and I don't. It doesn't. I thought the same thing. I was thinking about this last night, walking home from the theater. I thought, nobody died. This sucks. While Rocket's friends died, I had the same thought, but it doesn't hit the same because it's a flashback, and they're not any of the main characters. It has to be a main character that really passes.
Right. I don't want to downplay the Rocket's friend. Like, we'll get to that. We'll unpack it.
No, it's that in itself, in its own moment and its own part in the film, hits hard.
Yeah.
And it adds weight and value to Rocket's personal struggle.
But walking away and moving forward.
Why he is who he is. But in terms of the film and the actual... what they're actually trying to do, it doesn't add weight or value to.
Yeah.
It just makes you care about Rocket even more.
So who do you think, because there was real two threats of characters dying here. Obviously we had Rocket. And I'm going to be honest, like Rocket's moments in the third act are some of my favorite moments. They're moments that I'm going to sit here and gush about.
Yeah.
Having said that, in the moment when we were clearly only 2/3 of the way through the film and Rocket's back on his feet, I did find it jarring. I was like, oh, I thought this was going to be a movie-long struggle, a movie-long conflict that Rocket is dying, with the potential at the end. Now, an argument could be made that, well, then it would be kind of like, it'd be okay to end the second in a trilogy in sort of a really negative way where, we were unsuccessful. Rocket died. But to be like the capstone film for the trilogy, to be the last time that these three Guardians are together the way they are, I get that if your main mission of this film is let's save Rocket, and then you don't save Rocket, you would have walked out feeling just a little weird about it. You would have walked out feeling like, huh. Do you know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't have had the film would lack the feel good kind of wrap up that you get, which I think is equally as important. That you do need that, like, okay, we were accomplished and things are going to be okay. The second threat obviously was Star-Lord, was Peter.
Yeah,
and I've got a couple of thoughts on this. I thought in the moment that it seemed like Peter was dead, man. Like, his face is all like swollen and sucked out and awful, and he's in space, and even Groot can't get to him, and all this stuff. In that moment, I was like, you know what? This feels right. This feels good. Yes, Peter's not going to make it, and that'll be really tragic, but what a bold person to kill off, and I applaud you, and this is fantastic. Having said that, I did feel weird about, okay, so, but then the thing that took Peter Quill down was the fact that he was stupid and went back for his iPod. Like,
yeah.
That would have bugged me. That would have felt... So they would have had to have done it in a different way. I would have just... I would have removed the, he went back for something.
Yeah,
right?
No matter what, to kill anybody, you have to rewrite this script some.
Yeah, yeah. Because then ultimately it was like really
because
nice.
If the person, like you're saying, if the person dies, it has to be some sort of sacrifice to save the others, to really make it feel like there's like the danger is there, right? Because if it's not a sacrifice play, then they're just like like you're saying, Peter is just being stupid.
I mean, it would have
brave.
simply worked for me if you had just removed the shot of him going back and grabbing the MP3 player. If it was just he was the last one off the ship and he was a little too late.
Yeah.
And he was just a casualty of war.
Well, and it does just what I said by doing that, right? Like he was the last one off because he was trying to save everybody else.
Right.
He wasn't going back for an empathy. He's trying to be the hero.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and we do get a cute little bow on that, right? That this MP3 player that the whole time, he's been Rocket, stop taking my MP3 player, stop taking my MP3 player. And then we find out that, at this moment, Peter already knew that he was leaving. And so he went back. His parting gift to Rocket was this MP3 player, and he went back and got it for him. And so, I mean, that's...
Well, he had been leaving it with Rocket the whole film while Rocket was on the table dying.
Yeah. And so it gives that cute little, okay, you went back and grabbed it for a reason. It's not the same as like in Guardians of the Galaxy 1. Like, you've had character progression. Because in Guardians of the Galaxy 1, his little tape cassette player thing, he would have risked life or limb for that thing because that's all he had from his mother. Yeah. Right? And it was this, so... The one other thing I'll say, and it doesn't fall into a beef category for me, but it does fall into a potential negative for the film. This didn't really bother me because it's not a character that I'm, I wasn't like just itching and burning and waiting. And itching and burning. I don't know why this became like
a doctor to look at that.
A topical, yeah. I wasn't just like dying to see this character, and because I'm just not like, it's not one of those characters I'm a massive fan of. And so I ultimately I didn't care. It didn't make a big difference to me, but I can see, like, walking out of the theater last night when I was giving my quick little, response to what I think. I can see a lot of people, a lot of comic book fans, a lot of diehards having a real issue with how they did Adam Warlock.
Yeah, I could see that potentially.
Because he is kind of just a half-cooked idiot in this movie. Like, he came out of the cocoon too early, and he doesn't understand kind of anything.
He's got a mind of a child.
And I know, again, I'm not a massive Adam Warlock fan. I didn't really care. He wasn't on my, I can't wait list. So ultimately, I was just kind of like, I didn't enjoy his character. I was like, he kind of adds nothing to this for me, like at all. He just kind of felt like he was there for the sake of being there. But I do know that that's not the Adam Warlock that's not the fully developed Adam Warlock that you get in the comics. Yeah. And so I know that that's not what people were looking for going in. And it felt kind of like I was kind of like they MODOK'd him in a lot of ways.
I'm not super, I'm going to wiki him real quick because I'm not super familiar with his origin story, but I know it has to do more with the Soul Stone.
Yeah, like at some point they vision him, right? He has the Soul Stone on his forehead. The High Evolutionary puts the Soul Stone on his forehead.
Did the High Evolutionary create him?
Yes. Yeah.
Comics?
Yeah, so that's all consistent.
That's what I was wondering.
Yep, that's all consistent.
Okay.
So, so again, didn't bother me. He was a useless character to me. Like, I didn't, I had no use for him. But I can see some people being really upset and just feeling like they got gypped out of the Adam Warlock they wanted.
Yeah. I thought the Michelangelo's creation of Adam scene was a little odd. Like,
Yeah.
it's tongue in cheek because he's Adam and he's in the role of God in this scenario. I thought it was a bit much.
Yeah.
That pulled me right out. I was like, what is this? Why? Why do we need this?
So do you have any other gripes? Like any beef you got to air?
So my biggest one is obviously that nobody dies. And you were kind of touching on like who could have died. I don't think Rocket or Star-Lord should have died, because the ending of this film is it's perfect. Like it in that the way it kind of puts a cake topper. I don't know, whatever saying you want to put in here. It encapsulates. It bookends. There's the good analogy. It bookends the trilogy so well, with Star-Lord going back home, but the Guardians still exist, and a Rocket is now their leader.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't want that to change. I think that's a great ending for this film and for this trilogy. And who could have died? I think Gamora could have been an easy kill. Like, she died once already.
Yeah.
Why not kill her again? It wouldn't have I don't think it would have made any difference.
Well, and see, for me, I think that's the reason why that one doesn't work for me, is because I'm like, well, it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
Right.
She's already been killed. Weakest. That one's the weakest. Yeah. I don't think you can kill Groot. Groot already made a sacrifice play. Again, I said it was a different Groot. It is. But again,
just
for the same reason
repeat.
you wouldn't kill Gamora, you can't kill Groot.
Yeah. So Drax.
Right? So Drax, Mantis, and Nebula. Any one of those three. I thought they were going to kill Nebula. I didn't think she was going to get off the bridge.
Right.
I thought getting off she should have died on the bridge. I
thought that was a
she would have been the best
moment.
choice.
I'll pilot it.
She would have been the best choice.
Yeah, she was like, I'll pilot it, and she kind of hooks into it, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I had that thought too. I was like, this is the sacrifice.
Out of all of them, her or Drax, I think, would have been the cleanest, most for in terms of story. Would have made the best kind of thing. Drax is a little predictable because he's headstrong and throws himself into danger. I think Nebula would have been better because it would have affected everybody on the team, including Gamora, who's technically not a part of the team anymore and doesn't care about any of them. Yeah. So it throws that emotional weight behind everybody else who's the Guardians. You're still left with the original Guardians for the final fight scene. I think that, for me, that is the one who should have died.
Yeah. Right? I think I'm with you.
This person who up until really the end of Endgame was a very selfish person. To make this selfless play. It's beautiful for her character arc. It's beautiful for the trilogy's story. It's beautiful for everyone else's character arc. I think that would have been what should have been in. The other reason this is like such a big deal for me is all the promotional stuff for this. They're saying the Guardians are done. The Guardians are over. The Guardians aren't going to be who they are now moving forward.
Right. Which is true.
Like, you've got, all the actors playing these characters are like, yep, I'm done. Drax isn't going to be, I'm not playing Drax anymore. I'm not playing this, so it's like, I'm walking into this film fully expecting to see somebody die so that there are stakes, and nobody dies. Oh man, I felt so ripped off.
They should have killed Howard.
Yeah, it would have been disheartening to see somebody die, but for good reasons, right? Yeah. To help add emotional weight to the conflict. Mm-hmm. But there wasn't, and nothing happened, and it's disappointing. Yeah. I think one of my other gripes is we talked about how which film was it we talked about earlier going through the list. I wrote them down here. Which one was? We talked about how Thor: Love and Thunder was just too goofy. Yeah. And the Guardians was the one who kind of brought this kind of humor into Marvel. Yeah. There was a little bit of it with Robert Downey Jr.'s character, or Iron Man.
Yeah.
But not to the degree that Marvel, the Guardians did. And
Right.
since Guardians, it's become more of a mainstay in MCU. I think even this film went a little overboard with it.
Really?
There were some moments where they were feeling it was feeling like, oh shit. There were like some real oh shit moments, and then all of a sudden they threw humor in, and it's like it was, and usually in the form of Drax or Mantis being idiots.
Do you have an example? Just because I'm like I don't instantly feel that way, and so I'm just curious what moments struck you.
Man, I didn't write any down.
Okay, that's fine.
But it was just a thought I had at walking out of the theater. The biggest one that hits me is when the Evolutionaries ship is taking off and Nebula is telling them to fly the ship to her, and they're right behind her.
Oh, really? That irked you?
That was that like they're like shit's hitting the fan. And I was like, well, now I don't. You just like humor is good in the right places, and I feel like this movie subverted stakes a lot of times with humor.
Interesting. Yeah, I know the moment you're talking about.
Not as egregious as Thor: Love and Thunder,
right?
Right, it was not that egregious. That's why I off the top of my head I can't think of any.
Yeah.
If I were to go back and watch it, I'd jot them down for you. But I just get that sense that there are at least 2 or 3 moments where I'm pretty sure there were a couple around, like, there was at least 1 or 2 moments around the table, like when Rocket's dying on the table and they're not sure what's going on, and like Drax is like second best friend, and it's like, why why are you trying to lighten this mood? let it hang.
Yeah. I mean, so none of those moments bother. Excuse me. I know I remember all the moments you're talking about, and none of them bothered me when they happened, just because they were all consistent with characters, and
You're
so
right.
that helped. I
right.
think if it was someone who was just like, I think for a lot of people, because there's a lot of people who don't like, Thor Ragnarok, and the reason they don't like Thor Ragnarok is because they don't find it consistent with Thor's character. And you know what? Like I really like Thor Ragnarok, but I'll agree. Like it was an ask of the audience to say, "Hey, we're going to change this kind of quite a bit right in the middle of things. And this is just kind of who Thor is now, okay?" And the audience, and a lot of the audience said, "Okay, great. We're on board. This is hilarious." And a lot of the audience said, "What? No. Like we really liked this sort of Shakespearean element."
In that movie, Thor should have been like super serious pretty much through the whole thing. I don't think they should have done the talking to the hammers thing either.
Right.
I think that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
The levity should have came in the way of Jane Foster trying to figure out how to be a hero. Like, keep all the goofy stuff Jane did.
Oh, you're talking Thor: Love and Thunder. Yeah.
Throw out all the stuff Thor did.
Yeah.
It's goofy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm saying this is a grief I have with this film, the extent of the humor or where they placed it, but it's not a major gripe.
Okay.
I don't want to make it seem like it's as egregious as somebody not dying.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that bad. Like I said, there were only a few points where I felt like a moment was ruined by humor. a moment of heaviness was ruined by trying to lighten the mood.
Right.
And it would have been better if it just hung there in a heavy moment.
Huh. All right.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to go back and watch it again just because, you know, I'm married with kids and time and money. But
in the theater, you mean?
Like when it comes to Disney Plus, I definitely would love to like rewatch it and like jot down those points. And
I would encourage you to watch the trilogy because, and even throw in Infinity War and Endgame there. Like watch the Guardian story. Because that's kind of what I have the advantage of being able to do right now, watching it, like, you know, we're watching the MCU through recently. Very recently. And Guardians 3, not entirely, but in some ways kind of goes back and makes like, if you just watch Guardians 1 and 2, it feels very much like Peter Quill's story. Right? That is the story that you're watching. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 almost does a really great job of retroactively making the entire story Rocket's story. When you've watched them all close together.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting. Let's talk about things we liked.
All right.
I'm going to start with the High Evolutionary.
Okay.
It's a little bit shameful that we got this high evolutionary character who's there for just one film. He's in and he's out. He's done. Way more badass, way more foreboding, and way more, oh my gosh, this guy's a problem than the feelings that we got walking out of Quantumania. Kang, the big, oh shit, here we go. This is the bad guy.
And he's still around.
But man, the High Evolutionary in this movie, he's a bad dude. Like, he just really, like, emotionless, heartless, calculating, self-serving, powerful, like physically, like, powerful. Man, menacing looking. I kind of wish it was the High Evolutionary was our MCU threat moving forward.
Yeah. I don't think he's that big of a big bad, but he was definitely, he had a bet. I think in terms of like a screen presence and scariness, he definitely seemed scarier than Kang the Conqueror.
Yeah.
Just better written, I think.
Yeah. My hats are off. So here's the thing. One of my gripes, absolutely, they didn't kill anyone. But I salute James Gunn. I salute Marvel in that something I really liked was that there was no rekindling for Gamora and Peter.
Yeah, I like that.
That Gamora is dead. They really drive that home. The same
way Groot from Guardians 1 isn't Groot from 2 and 3.
I'm not the same
this is
Gamora.
A different Gamora.
Yeah. And I kind of thought right at the end that maybe there was like hope for it. And maybe they will at some point down the road rekindle.
Yeah.
They'll cross paths.
There's a flicker there.
Yeah, because she's got that. She says, you know, she stops and kind of smiles and says, I bet we were a lot of fun, weren't we? And he was like, the best. And then that's kind of it. And I was like, oh, this is going to be like a, you know, but that's before we find out that like Peter's leaving, that this is all splitting up and going in different directions. And then she just, because I was surprised when Gamora's back with the Ravagers.
Yeah, and they're treating her like a family. The thing that was what drew her to the Guardians in the first place.
And I was like, okay, well, you know what? Like, but ultimately, I applaud it. Ultimately, I was like, yes, that is a way of... Because it wasn't James Gunn that brought Gamora back. It wasn't James Gunn that killed Gamora. It wasn't James Gunn that brought Gamora back. Right?
Right.
That was the Russo brothers.
He just had to deal with the consequences.
He had to say, someone else took the characters that he had been developing and made some pretty big changes.
Turned them into their puppet and plaything.
And so I think James Gunn did a fantastic job of going, okay, but we can't act then like nothing happened. It can't just be business as usual. Gamora, this is not the same Gamora. And although this is the MC Fake Death U, there needs to be consequences. And I think James Gunn gets that. James Gunn's such a smart guy. Stupid DC fans, shut up. He's going to do great. He's a smart guy. And I think he is probably looking at the current state of the MCU and realizing that the stakes part of the MCU have kind of been a little neutered, and that this was like, he did a good job of taking something that felt like one of the examples of zero stakes, because Gamora's just back, and we've referenced that. We've been like, Gamora's dead, Gamora's back. Not the same Gamora, but basically the same Gamora. Just Gamora from a couple years earlier, no big deal. And James Gunn came in and he's like, no, not the same Gamora at all. And very big deal. And the things in Gamora's life that happened previously that made her the Gamora that you knew, well, those things haven't happened now. And so she's not the Gamora that you know. And she's not going to be. I really, really applaud them for keeping her character consistent in this with this new, hey, like, I'm not interested. Like, I don't want to join your Guardians. I don't know that I necessarily consider myself a good guy. Like, it was so refreshing.
She just wants to kill everybody.
Yeah, it was so refreshing. Speaking of people she wants to kill, Nathan Fillion.
Yeah, my man.
He's so good. He's like, Brienne was saying coming out of the theater last night, she's like, I feel like he's just in a lot of things where he's like this small cameo role that shows up for just like a small part of the film and then he's gone. And I'm like, yeah, he does that a lot, but it's still so good. Like, yeah, he's perfect for it.
He deserves to have major roles in film, like the leading man in more films.
Oh yeah, watching this last night, as he was on screen during his scenes, the thought went through my head, this is my Green Lantern.
Yeah. He's easily, he's just so good. He's one of the reasons Firefly is as good as it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you cry? Did you tear up? What was your emotional experience throughout this film?
It takes a lot to really make me tear up.
Yep.
Watching a film.
Yep.
I didn't cry, but I got like kind of tight in the chest in a few moments.
Yeah, a little misty. So what were those moments?
The kind of the later parts of Rocket's origin story were pretty choking.
Yeah, when Lila and Teef and Wheels and Floor, or Wheels? No, Teef, Wheels. Lila and Floor and Teef when they die.
Yeah. And just that whole kind of culmination of that story.
Yeah.
The rocket being on the table and then I'm unable to save him was almost right near the beginning was pretty crazy.
It's so upsetting. I was
it was. I don't think it was like tearing emotional, but it was like jarring emotional. Like, oh crap! Like,
yeah,
how much of this film is he going to be in?
Yeah, like you were saying,
is this going to be a revenge tale?
Yeah, you were saying they shouldn't kill Rocket, and I don't know where I stand.
I was saying they shouldn't kill Rocket because I liked the ending. I liked the idea of Rocket leading them at the end. if he had died and somebody else had led them, I guess that would have been fine.
Yeah.
Like it would have given different motive to the film, right? It would have been more of a revenge story than what it was.
Right.
Which I don't think is on par with what the Guardians are. So you're creating the Guardians to be something that they weren't created or written to be up to this point.
Right.
Right. They're Guardians. They're not the Revengers.
Yeah. I will say, though, I don't think that there was anyone else that you could have put in that position. There isn't anyone else that you could have put on that table that would have elicited the same emotional response. And I think part of it is he's so cute. He's cute and fluffy.
Yeah.
But I think a big part of it, too, is we know, like, even though it doesn't get unpacked until this film, we know that Rocket's got a really dark past.
Yeah.
We know that some awful stuff has happened to him.
Yeah,
we know.
It's been alluded to, even if you've just watched the films, it's been alluded to.
We know that Rocket is a massive emotional softie in a hard, crusty, avoiding emotions package.
Yeah.
And that he's, oh man, the
scene where he's rescuing the animals was pretty.
Oh man, his connection with
connecting with the other raccoons.
With the other raccoons and looking at the sign and realizing I am a raccoon. That is what I am. And that line where finally he acknowledges it. He says, the name's Rocket. Rocket Raccoon. And I was like, yes! Like it wasn't quite to the same like cheering in the theater level as when like Captain America catches Mjolnir. But it was like it just hit. Like it felt so good.
And the way he does it too, like he uses the grav boots we see him using earlier in the film, and he just like completely technologically his tech is better than the high evolutionary's tech, so it supersedes it. It's like once again he has outthought the high evolutionary.
Yeah.
And it's been the evolutionary's undoing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was amazing. The first moment that I would say I was like, I felt liquid in my eyes, not like tears running down my face, not stuff that like wouldn't just dry and dissipate on its own, but felt like, okay, like my vision might be getting a little blurry here from some of the tears that are forming, was actually Nebula's response over the comms to hearing that Rocket was up and moving.
Right.
And she just like breaks down and says, "We all love you, and we're happy to hear you up and about, or whatever." Yeah. And I was like, "Oh, like I just which was so bizarre." I'm like,
big character growth moment for her.
Nebula is making me emotional. Like what? So there was that. Yeah. There was I got a little bit emotional, but then there was a better payoff for it. I got a little bit emotional when Drax is goofing off and interacting in front of the kids, because it just clicked that Drax was the one there that has been a parent.
Yeah,
he knows how to deal with kids, and so it made me a little like, oh man, like this is getting me in the feels. But then when Nebula says to him, "You were never meant to be a destroyer. You were meant to be a dad."
Yeah.
I was like, it just like, it was part of what was such a,
I literally just got shivers when you said that.
Yeah. It's part of this movie doing so good at bookending everyone's story, right? Because that is the beginning of Drax's story, is that his wife and daughter have been killed by Ronan.
Yeah. And he's out for revenge. And so he's got this longing inside of him to and it just connected with me. It resonated with me as, that like when you're a dad, lost everything, the only thing he wants is to destroy.
Yeah. When you're a dad, there's this part of you that is opened up. There's this part of you that you tap into, where you know that this is the moment to start making, even though they're horrible monkey noises, this is the moment to start making monkey noises and goofing off. And I still
dance, even though dancing is for idiots.
Yes, exactly. And so it was so good. I love Drax's line because he then all of a sudden, because a real issue in this film up until this point is like, we don't know what language he's like. Nobody knows how to commune with these people, and that we can't do it on Counter Earth, and we can't do it on this ship in these cells. And then all of a sudden, Drax just starts doing it, and Nebula's like, "Why didn't you say you know how to speak their language?" And Drax is just like, "Why didn't you ask me?"
Yeah,
so good.
Just assume I'm an idiot.
Yeah, it's so good. Surprisingly, the moment that really got me, though, and I think it was like, I don't know if it would have gotten me as a standalone moment. And it's interesting because I think this is a moment that isn't going to work for everybody and didn't work for Brienne. So when I was like, this is the moment that really like, this was the moment where the tears left my eyes and were like escaping to other areas of my face. And I think it was just like an emotional buildup of everything else. But for some reason, when Groot says, "I love you guys," I was just like, okay, like at that point, I was already on the edge of my rope. And then it just like, for whatever reason, that did me in. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like,
yeah. That one pulled me out for a second.
Yeah, like, which is what Brienne said too.
What?
Yeah.
But there have been iterations of Groot in the comic that have spoke. So it's not,
I mean, and he had the old Groot said, "We are Groot." Yeah. So there has been
to
deviations from.
Yeah. There is the capacity for a Groot to speak. Both.
Yeah. Maybe they both could, and Groot's just a major narcissist. It's just like, I am Groot.
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep saying that.
Oh man. I thought Gamora mid-film being like, "I know who you are, quit introducing yourself," or whatever her line was kind of funny. But then at the end, she without even realizing it, she understood what he was saying. It was kind of funny.
Yeah. One of the things that we'd kind of heard, that I'd heard, that was going around going into this, was that it was, it's just like every other MCU film, it's PG-13. But that this was the first Guardians of the Galaxy film specifically that people who had seen it, critics who had seen it and stuff like that, the question that was kind of out there was critics saying, "I don't know if I would take my kid to go see this. I don't know."
Well, the stuff with Rocket in the flashback.
The stuff with Rocket is pretty dark. The discovery that Rocket didn't just scratch the High Evolutionary's face. He mutilated him. He rendered him unrecognizable.
Yeah.
Which I loved, and I thought that like that reveal was so powerful. And
the mask coming off his face as he fell, and there was that like one long strand that just kind of like poing.
It's gruesome. It's gruesome. Yeah. But seeing how bad Rocket messed him up, I think added another layer for me to Rocket's backstory. That like this critter who up until this point had shown no even inclination into violence.
Yeah.
He just had friends. He wanted to build rockets and fly with his friends and do all this stuff. He really took this guy within an inch of his life. And so I thought that was powerful. Something I knew was in this film. I don't know if you knew this. I knew this was in the film. I had a rough idea of where it was and what the context was. But we would be doing this review a disservice if we did not talk about the fact that we have our first F-bomb in the MCU.
Yeah, I heard or read something about it before I went into the film.
Yeah. And it's they don't make a big deal out of it. It's not like the punchline to a joke. We don't, it's just kind of it happens and we move on.
Yeah, it happened. I barely registered it only because I knew of this fact.
Yeah.
But I don't even, like, thinking back, I don't even remember where or when it happened.
So it's on Counter Earth when they're taking this car. And Nebula's having trouble opening this like 1970s door handle, right? And he's like, push the button. And she's like, I am pushing the button. It looks like you're pushing the keyhole. Push the button. Okay. And then finally she like pushes the button in, and she's like, okay, and then what? And he's like, get in the effing car. Like, and then that was it. She just got on, like we cut to the next scene or whatever it was. It didn't bother me. I think it's possible there'll be a lot of people who are upset about this. They'll go like, oh, okay, the MCU is no longer like...
Well, it fits so perfectly in that scene because he's so frustrated.
He's so frustrated. And it doesn't violate, the MCU... Here's the thing. I think a lot of people out there are like, the MCU's promise, the precedent that they've set has been that they're kid movies, that they're kid friendly, that they're blah, blah, blah. And that's not true at all. No. It's not true at all, right? Take a film.
Dark films.
They're very dark films at times.
Thanos
right?
killing his daughter.
Well, not even that. In Infinity War.
No, that's just one example.
Yeah. In Infinity War, make no mistake, is the film that will go down in history as the largest depiction of mass murder, not only in Marvel, not only in film, but in all of fiction literature ever. He doesn't just kill half of the people on Earth. He kills half of the people in existence. It's dark. And so the precedent that the MCU has set, and Deadpool is going to be sort of a temporary departure from this, but the precedent that they've set is that these films are PG-13. And within PG-13, you're allowed so many shits, you're allowed so much blood, you're allowed so much whatever. You are allowed one F-bomb and still be PG-13. Now, up until this point, the MCU has not utilized it. But I was listening to an interview with Chris Pratt, and Chris Pratt was saying, I'm not the first, this isn't the first attempt, right? Like quite often people will ad-lib trying to get actors in the past have ad-libbed, Robert Downey Jr. did it, everyone's done it, trying to sneak an F-bomb in. And they always end up not using that cut. But something about it, so they shot this scene, and then I guess James Gunn looked at Chris Pratt and said, okay, try it again, but just for fun, say this. just do it and see how, And so then Kevin Feige, they took it to Kevin Feige, right? Because he's got the final, say on something like that for sure. And Kevin Feige kind of said to James Gunn, I don't know if, you don't want to be the guy. You don't want to be known as the guy that brought the first F-bomb into the MCU. And James Gunn was like, I'm sorry, do you know me at all? I absolutely want to be known as the guy that did that. But it worked. It worked. It was fun. It's not an F-bomb is not the darkest thing in this film. If you're questioning whether or not you should be bringing your kids to see this film, the F-bomb should not be the thing that you're getting hung up on, I don't think.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about the new Guardians team and what this kind of means moving forward. So we get our post-credit scene. Our first
post-credit scene.
The mid-credit scene. And so we have a new team.
One of two.
We have Rocket, obviously, is leading. And where you find Rocket, you will find Groot. And so we have Groot.
Looks awesome.
Groot looks so good.
Oh, man. Hang on. Pause. If we're talking about Groot and how big and cool he is here, when I think it was Nebula was like, Groot, go kaiju. Groot gets really big. That was so awesome.
The kaiju. I thought of you because I knew we were watching at like roughly the same time.
Yeah.
And so when that happened, I thought of you, and I was like, so Carl's loving this moment right now.
There's been some really cool moments in like animated Marvel features where Groot's done something like that, and I've always thought, oh man, I hope the MCU does that.
Yeah,
because it is so cool.
Yeah. So we have them. We have Cosmo, who, I mean, Cosmo's kind of been a part of the team in this film, sort of. Like, Cosmo's become more and more. Cosmo really made a big appearance in the holiday special, where all of a sudden it was like, oh, okay, Cosmo's hanging out at HQ and seems to be a part, not a part of the team, but is like, you know, he's been brought into the fold in a more significant way.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Cosmo being a part of the new Guardians team?
I think it's fine. I think he fits. He's part of kind of Guardians of the Galaxy mythos to begin with, right? So
yeah,
it's fine. I have no problem with anybody on the team. Just
okay. Then we have Kraglin.
Yep.
Who I love Kraglin's story arc in this film.
Yeah. Craig, the way I like the way they teamed his story up with, oh shoot, I'm so bad with names. The dog,
Cosmo.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a fun little story arc in this film.
Then we have Adam Warlock. I don't know. It's worth noting I'm not a big Will Poulter fan.
Really?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that also hurts the Adam Warlock my interest in the Adam Warlock character in this. I mean,
I haven't seen a lot of his.
No, neither have I. But what I have seen, I'm just kind of like, okay. I don't get the hype.
I think
he's
from
got
what
crazy
I have
eyebrows.
Seen, I don't mind him. He's like the most prominent image I have of him in my mind is the Millers, and he's just like a real goofball in that, which he's kind of in this.
Yeah,
but this gives me like, I feel like he's got a lot more range than give him credit for.
Yeah, maybe. We just didn't see it in this. So
yeah,
it's, you know, he's definitely the strongest member of the new team. He's the most powerful member of the new team. But yeah,
like in terms of brute strength, you mean?
Well, in terms of like his actual powers, I mean, he can fly. He shoots the cosmic.
Right.
Whatever he's
like
shooting.
An actual power level, yeah. Cosmo might give him a run for his money, but in terms of power level, But like ability to get stuff done, Kraglin's up there too. He doesn't have really any powers to speak of, right? But like he's with that air, being able to control that arrow now, he's a menace.
Yeah. And then we see the MCU's introduction of Phyla-Vell, who is not referred to directly by name in this, but that's definitely who this character is. And I was sort of confirmed it afterwards by going online and being like, who the hell is that supposed to be? And I'm like, oh, okay, yes. So Phyla-Vell, who in the comic books has gone as Corsair, she's gone as Captain Marvel. Most recently, I think the newest iteration is it Martyr? Yeah, in the comics, she's kind of like she's got something to do with the Kree. I don't fully know. Okay.
Yes, apparently she's going by Martyr. There's a quote here from her on the Marvel database. The picture at the top has her labeled as Martyr. And there's a quote here. I am the chosen avatar of death.
Oh,
Want
nice.
to learn about pain, I'll teach you. Now,
I don't know.
who wants to go save the universe?
I don't know if and when we'll see, like, we won't see another James Gunn Guardians. We just
Not
won't.
now. Yeah.
I don't know if we'll see another Guardians. Or if this was just kind of a, hey, the team continues on.
Well, if our post, like, so that being said, you don't think we'll see another Guardians. What do you think
The second post-credit
scene was about then?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. He's not a Guardian anymore. So the second post-credit scene we get is sort of the continuation. Like, the movie ends and Peter's gone and he's reconnected with his grandfather. I got very close to weeping like a baby. Just because I'm like putting myself, I think I was like empathizing with the grandfather who hasn't seen this kid in 30 years. And like just this emotional breakdown. And they're sitting there and they're chatting and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And that's all great. Did you notice the newspaper headline?
Oh, no, I didn't.
So Peter's reading, is it Peter reading no, Peter's eating cereal. The grandfather's reading the newspaper. And the newspaper is something like celebrity Kevin Bacon goes missing. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, yeah. So that was fun. And then That's ends. Hilarious. The very last thing we see on screen, as we've seen, you know, it used to be commonplace. An MCU film ends, and it's, you know, the Guardians of the Galaxy will return. Captain America will return. You know, blah blah blah. The Avengers will return. This time we got Star-Lord will return, and I was like, huh. Like, that surprised me. I kind of just thought, like, okay, that's it. That's done. It's over. So obviously Chris Pratt as Peter Quill is coming back. My guess would be that they have intent to use him in either or both Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. Because between now and then, I don't know where else you'd plug him in.
Yeah.
Right? Like, yeah. Looking at the slate, there's nothing else that kind of makes sense to me between now and then. Yeah. But just because he's coming back doesn't necessarily mean the rest are. Right? Like, we know that Drax is done. Drax is not coming back.
Yeah.
Gamora may. Right? I sort of alluded to, there is the potential, I guess, for some rekindling in the future. But we know Drax is not good. Dave Bautista's not coming back. So it's possible that we're not going to see the Guardians.
Hang on. Dave Bautista has gone on record saying, I'm done, I'm not coming back. But we've talked about this before with like Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans, and, you know, if the studio backs up a truckload of money to your house and dumps it on your front lawn, are you going to say no? Like, so they've said they're not coming back, but that's
yeah. I mean, there's
always a chance these characters and these actors could come back.
My impression of Dave Bautista saying this was that was kind of what he was told. Right? Is that this is the swan song for Drax.
Okay.
Right. So, which, I mean, they can change their mind totally, and I'm sure Dave Bautista would come back and, you know, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, like, will Bradley Cooper be back? I don't know. Will Vin Diesel be back? I don't know. Do I really, like, because ultimately what it comes down to is, like, the movie ends, we get that mid-credit scene, and we see the new team of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. I don't need to see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 4 with this team. Like, that doesn't interest me. It just, I don't know.
I don't know. That's the thing about the Guardians, right? The Guardians are like the Avengers.
Oh yeah, they're constantly changing, swapping up.
Yeah. It's a team that the characters on the team are ever changing.
Yeah.
It's not like a revolving door, but like we've seen, like the Guardians at the end of the first film aren't the Guardians at the start of this film.
No.
We got a different Groot. Gamora's not there. Nebula's on the team. And Kraglин's not an official member, but there's a few kind of unofficial members there too now.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I mean, when the Guardians of the Galaxy were first introduced in the comics back in the 60s, this was not the team that we see on screen was not the team. Right? Like the original, I've got it pulled up here. The original team was Yondu, Major Victory, Martin X, Charlie 27, and Starhawk.
We've seen a number of those members on.
We've seen a number of them on screen.
They're not the Guardians.
No,
they're Ravagers.
Yeah, which was a fun kind of little Easter egg in both Volume 2 and in this one. Yeah. Sort of led by, because I think one of them is played by, it's Stallone's character, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of different, like, people who have been in it. Beta Ray Bill was a Guardian of the Galaxy at one point. If you're going to plug Beta Ray Bill in, Guardians of the Galaxy kind of feels like it kind of feels like what you could get away with. You know what I mean? Like, Beta Ray Bill would kind of feel weird. I mean, obviously he could pop up in Thor, but the other place that you could kind of introduce him in the MCU would sort of be this Guardians of the Galaxy universe, because it's got that sort of silly space. Everyone kind of looks crazy and weird, and you'll just accept odd species anyways. So I don't know. I'm also not a massive, like, everyone's like, we got to get Beta Ray Bill. I'm like, do we? Like, I don't know. I don't care. Like,
they did kind of Easter egg him
in Ragnarok. Yeah.
Thor.
Yeah. So I don't know. Is there anything else about this film that is that you want to chitty chat about?
Oh man, I don't know. I don't know. They were cool. I'm still on the fence if they are a bad thing or a good thing for not only this movie but the universe as a whole, especially kind of the space universe. Is the med packs. Okay.
Go on.
Like, as long as the person's not dead, you're fine. You're fine. Like,
yeah,
Mantis's arm is like broken in 6 places, and she throws one on and hits a button. It's like, I'm good.
Yeah, that felt
like,
a little.
We're talking about like we've talked to death about the consequences of death in a film and the importance of it. Well, getting maimed and hurt also is a part of that.
Yeah.
Right? So like when crap was going down right at the beginning and our Guardians were like almost all being completely decimated, I was like, oh crap, this movie is going to have some serious stakes. Like, Mantis's arm is broken, Drax can barely breathe, Rocket's practically dead. Like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Nope, it's okay. They're good. One button push. It's like, oh, what?
Yeah.
What? Oh, okay. Like a really cool kind of like sci-fi tech thing.
Yeah.
You know, like
Sort of like portable back to tank.
Yeah.
Portable and much faster back to tank.
like immediate.
Yeah.
So, that kind of, I don't know. I'm unsure how to feel because it's really cool,
Well,
right?
you
It's
have
kind of
to
like
suspend a
almost
lot of-
video game-esque
Yeah.
med pack.
Because in
But
order
at the
to buy
same time,
into
like I said,
it,
it kind of like it diminishes stakes.
yeah, in order to buy into it,
For the whole film, anytime anybody looks like they're getting hurt, it's just like, just throw a med pack on it.
yeah, it's because you wonder like what is happening internally, like
Yeah.
what is the actual biological thing that's going on here? Yeah,
Well, but like here to kind of, yeah, I'm. You know what? The more I talk about this, I'm going to put it in a thing I didn't like.
it's a beef.
This is a detriment to the film.
All right,
It's a beef. These med packs are a beef. They're officially a beef now that we're talking about it. When they are on the living organism space station thing and shit goes sideways, people start getting hurt.
yeah,
The whole time I'm just like, they're just going to put a med pack on it.
right,
I didn't feel like there were any stakes.
yeah,
The worst stake in that situation was they're going to get caught.
right,
They're going to get put in handcuffs.
right,
That seems inconsequential
yeah,
compared to person's arm is broken and now has to go through the rest of the film with a broken arm.
yeah. No, I agree. I agree. Because I did at first, like, I really enjoyed that initial fight, and there was something about when the fight is brought onto our turf.
Yeah.
And, people are kind of like, they're not in their armor and their battle gear. They're just like grabbing guns out of their locker and like
Not ready for it.
not ready for it. Yeah. So that was cool. That was cool. But yeah, the med pack thing, I don't know.
Yeah.
A moment that I was like, oh, this is like the moment in the film that I think had me grinning from eye to eye, cheek to cheek, ear to ear, was when they're on the high evolutionary ship and Groot like opens up and pulls all these guns out of him and gives Peter Peter his guns, and then Groot's just like spinning around, like shooting all these blasters in every direction.
That was
I was
really
like,
cool.
oh my gosh. Like, it's so
That was
good.
a really cool moment.
So good.
Yeah. Oh man. The that whole kind of fight from like when they leave Nebula, from that point forward, that kind of story arc with following those two characters to when they finally are all back on solid ground and they get the thing out and then they have to and barely miss getting hit by the Mantis ship, and like when he jumps out of the spaceship.
Yeah.
High evolutionary is just like, that's an odd tactic.
Yeah. Plummeting to an exploding planet. That's
Yeah.
all right.
So Groot growing wings to
And
not
then
fly, but glide with style.
And it is really funny that while this is happening, on the outside of the ship trying to get in to rescue them is other members of the team. And you're like,
And you
oh,
actually
no.
see Groot and Star-Lord fall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so good.
We gotta
That's
get
so
in and
good.
rescue them.
Yeah. And then finally they communicate. Like the first thing Rocket says when he wakes up is like, where's Drax and Mantis and Nebula?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, they're
gone.
whatever. And he's like, why are they trying to call you? It's like, and they turn around and they're like, oh shit, there is a call coming in. And then, yeah, Nebula's like, we're here to get you out. And he's like, what?
Where?
Here, where? On the high evolutionary ship. And it's like, oh no, what? I already got out of there. Like,
We jumped off. You
Yeah.
what?
You should know that by now I will always find a wicked awesome way to escape any situation. Yeah. No, it was good.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was really fun.
Do you have anything else, or is it time to rank this bad boy?
It was part of the trailers, but it for some reason it hit differently in a good way. But when Drax throws the ball at the kid,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, yeah, Drax in this film was great. I'm pretty sure, like I said about my other beef about kind of like using humor to kill heavy moments. I think he was the egregious one for that if I rewatch it.
Right.
But also moments where it was right, it was usually him again, but they were awesome. Like when they're in the rabbit's house. Were they rabbits?
I don't. Some of the species. It seemed like all of the species that the High Evolutionary was testing on that we saw in those flashbacks were all sort of Earth-based creatures.
I'm pretty sure they were rabbits.
But then, anyway, I thought a lot of the creatures on Counter Earth were like animals that originally would have existed somewhere else in the galaxy, not from Earth initially. And so that's kind of what I thought they were, was like some super evolved version of some animal we didn't know.
I think they were all earthly animals.
Were they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty sure they were rabbits. Anyway, they were in the house and Drax is laying down on the couch and everyone's giving him a hard time. He's like, this is what it's for. Even Star-Lord's like, no, you're supposed to sit up. And the whole time he's just like trying to lay down.
Well, I liked Peter's...
That was great because it's not like a heavy moment.
Yeah.
And he's bringing humor to this kind of mild moment. It's really good.
I liked Peter's line to the High Evolutionary where he's like, High Evolutionary is talking about like the absolute perfect ideal world or whatever. And Peter's like, I'm pretty sure that a cockroach selling meth to a porcupine is not a part of that.
Yeah, when they were driving through
so
town,
funny.
and it was like this is Earth to a T, just with animals.
With animals.
It was like Zootopia.
Yes,
it was a live action Zootopia.
Yeah, for sure. All right, sir. On a scale of 0 to 10, how would you rank Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3?
I would hit it somewhere in like a 7.58 range. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. Yeah. How about you?
I think 8. I think an 8. 8 out of 10. Yeah. It was fantastic. I think I definitely like it. I like it better than the second Guardians of the Galaxy. I may like it better than the first. I don't know. But it might be my favorite Guardians of the Galaxy. But there's also recency bias, right? Like I just got out of the theater last night. The hype is still there. So it would take some time and maybe 1 or 2 more viewings to kind of really figure out where it ranks among the others. But I really liked it. Really liked it.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Good film.
Cool.
Good Marvel film.
It's great. It's like again, and it gives me this bizarre false hope where I'm like, are we back on track?
We were ranking. We were kind of very quickly going over and kind of sub ranking all these these films and shows since Endgame, and like most of the ones that worked weren't awesome. There was very few that were awesome.
Yeah.
Most of them were good, and just as many that were good were bad.
Yeah.
So to have something that just hits all the marks like perfectly, almost like both of us have the same big beef with it. Nobody died. Somebody should have died. But yeah, it's even though it missed that mark, which is a big mark for me, it's still really good.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. Make sure you check out our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all listed below. Check out our Patreon, which is an awesome, wicked way to support the show for as little as $1 a month and get some fun perks back in return. And speaking of perks, we got merch. Merch. You know, every time I say we got merch, I'm expecting you to like sort of take it and run with it and just kind of be like, yeah, merch. And
we don't have running shoes. Where am I supposed to run with it?
We could.
Movie Man,
just like Movie Man insoles.
Insoles. You can step on us anytime you want.
Yeah, Movie Men like therapeutics or whatever they are. You know, for our older listeners, like Carl.
Get some of those. They're like croc buttons.
Yeah. Oh God, no, because I don't want to be in the category of people or brands that are somehow endorsing, supporting, or acknowledging the existence of Crocs. So that's
yeah,
no, not gonna happen. Not gonna happen.
Yeah, not a Crocs guy myself either. Let's sidestep that one and make our own.
We'll just make our own. They'll basically look exactly like Crocs.
Yeah,
but they'll be, some sort of smarter
Movie Man.
Croaks. Yeah, we'll make some Croaks.
Yeah,
that won't. That's not gonna get a suit.